All right, so I'm here with my nephew, Joshua. Believe it or not, it's been 3 months. Crazy. Feels like time has gone by insanely fast. But Josh came here for an internship. He helped me sort of build this program that I had been wanting to start, and it's an internship with our Elevate, our multifamily investment company, and then also an internship with our construction company, J&T Construction, and also teaching a lot of self-development and personal financing and just things in general that I think schools should be teaching, and it should be part of their curriculum, but it's not. So, you know, Josh is 18?
19 in a couple days.
You know, I'm gonna ask Josh a couple questions, see what he learned in these last 3 months, and what his main takeaways were. So, you know, let's jump right into it. I'm gonna go straight into multifamily investing. You know, what did you learn the past 3 months about multifamily investing?
Well, to begin with, before I came over here, you kind of gave me a bit of a reading list, or sort of a requirement, which was Joe Fairless's Best Ever, which was a guide to multifamily investing. And up to this point, I had no idea this career existed, sort of this whole area of real estate that he works in. So if you're not aware of Joe Fairless's Best Ever, it's a 12-hour ebook. So that was quite a lot to digest, but it basically taught me the basics and just the understanding the concept of what a multifamily business is and what it entails. So I came over here already knowing kind of the basics, which was great. He didn't have to teach me certain things like how you gather investors to purchase the property, or where you purchase the property from.
So yeah, that gave you the basics, right?
Yeah.
That was the whole plan behind that. How many other books did I give you to read?
About 30 physical and 40 physical and 60 in total. So.
Did you read every single one?
No, I did not.
But you will?
Yes, hopefully.
Okay.
I will. Not hopefully, I will.
So let's go a little deeper into multifamily. You know, what exactly did you learn? What does it take to find and purchase a property? And just tell us what you learned in general.
Well, what I learned about multifamily is you can get deals, and sometimes they're on the market, sometimes they're not. Like, I believe for your first deal, it wasn't on the market yet.
That's correct. It was off market.
Okay. So to get a deal, they're either if they're on the market, you can perform your due diligence on the property, see what the properties are, what condition they're in, and with that you can start your underwriting and present your deal to the owner.
Present your offer.
Present your offer to the owner, and if they accept, there you go, you're ready to go. But if not, you go back, you work with the underwriting, you get more investors, you change it up to make it more appealing to them, and also not cutting out your investors, because that's what you're doing this for. Your investors, that's how they make a profit, that's how you make a profit.
So you tweak some things, but you don't, you maybe find some other angles you can take, or other areas you can add value, but sometimes it's just not going to work out.
Yeah, it's a bad deal.
Yeah, right.
Bad property.
Correct.
You got to find something else.
Correct. Okay, so you find a deal, you line up, you get it under contract, you line up your investors, you do your due diligence, and then you close on it. Right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of steps in that process, to say the least.
Yep. How about after you close on it?
Well, after you've closed on it, well, there you go. You and your investors now own the property. And from there, you've got to perform this will all be planned out in your underwriting, which will show like your plan for the next couple of years and your budget, sort of.
Your projected budget.
Projected budget.
And your business plan.
Yes. So to be able to make money for investors, what you'll usually do is take a dilapidated multifamily apartment and with upgrades and just fixing it up, because a lot of these properties are several decades old, and I'll get more into that later, but you upgrade them, you improve the amenities, and you go in with your own property management team, because that's just right off the bat, show the current homeowners and the investors that you're going to make a change. That's how you're going to capitalize off their investment and bring them returns, and all the while making it so the current people who live there and the future people who live there are just going to have a great experience and have a good place to live in.
Yeah, and so I mean, you got to witness some of this as we
walked the property
with the lender's inspection. We were wrapping up a $7 million capex project. What'd you get to see as we walked around?
We basically walked through first got to see the property management, obviously, because that's what every tenant and anybody who's looking to be a future resident in the property has to go through. It was a great office. It's remodeled. It's an old property, but you can't tell that walking through it. Anything that's falling apart, that would have been falling apart, isn't. It's updated, up to code and everything. While walking through the whole apartments, we got to look inside units and along the exteriors and see if there was any issues, stuff that the property management team hadn't gotten around to. There wasn't really anything besides just minimal things that they hadn't gotten around to, such as paint that was a couple years old from when they first acquired the property. Fixing that up was already in the plans anyways. But yeah, they were well-kept properties. I believe another property we got to look at was where one of the upgrades they made to it was they put in a soccer field. It looked like a blast. I would love to live there. It was like a whole cage around it. Kids wouldn't be kicking balls out of there and breaking windows. I
still want to play a game in there.
Yeah,
but
it's really cool.
We've had it closed since we opened it because of COVID, but
yeah, couple months.
The kids are dying to get in there.
Yeah, so I got to walk the property and see what happens to property that gets
right. And you saw the before pictures of all these properties.
Yeah.
So then you walked in and you saw the after.
Yeah, great improvement. It was basically just what he does. It showed what he does to a property, and I could see with the pictures what it looked like before, and overall completely different. You couldn't tell that property was several decades old, besides the construction, because if you look at the upgrades, the amenities, it's modern. It's pretty good.
Cool. So you saw how we added the value at those properties. So you've spent time with our investment firm and actually doing some cold calling and getting deep in, helping us with our marketing. You also spend time with the construction team and some of our project managers, our estimator. Tell me what you learned as far as the construction company goes.
Very early on, I got to sit down with our chief estimator, and he kind of walked me through how he reaches out to the vendors, gets the prices of whatever they're going to be needing for the multifamily properties, because when you're upgrading the properties, you got to get them from somewhere. So you reach out, get the paints, see what the cost of labor is going to be, the products you need to install, such as appliances and just everything you need to renovate the properties to where you want it.
Right, so we use a mixture of, we have some database figures, and then we also have good relationships with our vendors and our crews. So you witnessed him putting together some estimates, and you helped him. Actually, you helped him out. Figuring out some of the figures.
Some of them and
what else? What else on the construction side?
I got to go and be with the team when they was a bit of irregular for the team. They got to go to Frankfurt Station and see what your partner company was doing with the construction of a multifamily property.
Right, so now we're talking about ground up. This was a 260 unit ground up project, and we were working on the final touch-ups. So we went out there and we brought at J&T, we've got pretty much two divisions. We've got our renovations that mainly focuses on renovating multifamily and commercial. And then we've got our new construction, new development arm that focuses mainly on multifamily new construction. So we met with our director of construction for the new development, and we had our renovation team go out there and
it was a bit
tell
of
us what you learned.
Well, overall, the scenario in itself was a bit of cross-training your divisions.
Correct.
So everybody has more knowledge, and when there's a problem, more people can find the solution, and that just leads to more efficiency. Well, what we learned when we went through there was just the overall construction of the apartments and how they laid the groundwork and built it up. And we got to walk multiple properties as they were finishing construction. Before there was already a bit of, some of the tenants were already starting to live there, but it wasn't at anywhere near full capacity or opened yet.
Yeah, we had certain sections of COs, but we didn't have the final CO.
I also was there when they talked about certain additions they were adding, such as I think there were still talks about creating a dog park across the street.
Correct.
And looking through the plans of that and seeing how it fit with codes and property lines, because I believe on the opposite side where the boundary ends there was was it a field or government property?
There was some type of easement. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah.
So it was a tricky situation, but teaching the team how to do that so more people can.
Yeah, pretty much we had to adjust the location of the dog park, and we kind of walked through that process. Okay, so I mean, you got a good feel for renovations, you got a good feel for new construction. Anybody that owns business or any business in general needs to have good marketing, right? To continue to grow. So within the investment company, the construction company, I mean, you were hands-on quite a bit of the marketing. What did you learn there?
Yeah, I learned quite a lot on marketing. That's what I did latter end of my stay here. The very beginning, I got to walk through ClickFunnels. What you do is you provide a free product, which in the case of the ClickFunnel I worked on was a free ebook, which taught you about how to hire a contractor, which is a very important thing if you want to start a multifamily business, because who's going to do the work for you? Well, people who want to download their book, they give you their contacts, and through that you can provide a drip of information regarding your company. And the key is to create content for them and give them meaningful emails of new deals you're working on, that it's not annoying. So, and if they don't like it, they can choose to opt out easily. But if they like what your company is doing and they see that you're constantly sending them emails of new opportunities, and if they look through your social media, which I'll get to later because I worked heavily on that, you start building this reputation with them. They see that you're a successful company, you mean business.
Yeah. So in general, what you worked on was a lead magnet, right? So we're offering free content in exchange for somebody's contact information, and then from there, the goal is to give. Continue to give free content, and then kind of sprinkle in an ask in there every once in a while. Whether it's on the construction, we're gonna ask if, hey, by chance, you like all the free content we've been giving you. Do you need our services? On the investment side, we're gonna say, hey, here's all this awesome free content, and then every once in a while, hey, we've got an investment offering. If you're interested, here's the details. So yeah, I mean, I think that was a good experience with the lead magnet. So tell us a little bit more about the social media then.
Well, social media, I manage his social media pages for quite a while there, and the construction page. So what I never realized was there's quite an importance to your social media page, because that goes in hand with building your brand. And when you build your brand, basically it means if somebody's looking to invest in you, hire you for construction, and they look you up. They go to your Instagram page, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, and they can go through and see your feed. And if they see constant content, informational, shows what their company does, before and after properties, you're gonna have a reputation there. You can show that you provide reliable fixes to problems. Or that goes hand in hand with building your brand. And when you build your brand, you build your business.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it there. How important is documenting?
When you're walking a property,
just in general.
Oh, right? In general?
Yeah. How important is just documenting what you do?
Any type of documenting, you can use that later for social media or have it on your website. Documenting what you do every step of the way can help show new customers and old customers just what you do as a business and your reliability. And in my case, when I was building these posts, when the crew went out and documented, that gave me stuff to work with every day, because he follows a strict regimen of putting out at least one post a day. Because when you do that, that helps build
helps with the algorithm.
Yeah, and also post out to more people.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, I had issues doing this when I first started my companies, because it's got to become a routine. You gotta stop working the day to day and in the hustle for a second and document what you're doing. I was not big into social media before I realized I got turned on to Gary Vee and started seeing some of his stuff, and it really clicked. And that's when I started documenting everything and getting it out there, and I started seeing the difference that it made. So yeah, just take that time to document, and then the even harder part is when you want to scale that and extend that, is getting your team to also do the same, which is kind of where I'm at right now. They're starting to do a pretty good job.
Yeah, from when I first got here.
Yeah, you got here right in me implementing that.
Yeah, which is why I kind of took over the social media page, because at the beginning I wanted to go in and help people where I could learn, but also where I could use my time wisely, help with their efficiency. Whether the estimator had too much on his plate, so I could go and call companies to make the job go quicker so we can go on to something more meaningful. Or when it was cold calling and help raising equity when you were really pushed to finish a deal, I helped with that. But near the end, what we saw was just, if I could help and create posts every day, that was one less thing he had to worry about in the morning. Because if you don't know, if you want to do good with the algorithm, you want to get a post out between around 9 to 1. It's around there, I believe. Basically, that's just one thing he had to worry about in the morning, and just didn't leave it till his day started until he got that out. Well, in my case, I was able to use what the team, mainly him, or just past photos to create new content, such as before and afters, to just show what the team does. Just to reiterate from before.
Yeah. It's been it was a huge help. So somebody else is gonna have to step up now and help. All right, so we talked about, let's see, what you learned with the multifamily investing side, what you learned with the construction side, what you learned in general with marketing.
Yeah.
Let's see, let's go over the other aspects. So we talked about personal development. What did you learn on that end?
Well, personal development was, as it says, it's personal development. What I learned was that to be able to run such a large business, and in your case you run 2 businesses, if not, those are the main prominent ones, you have to follow like a strict routine. You have to put in the work, you have to be willing to stay the hours, get the work done. But even staying the hours, it's not about the time, it's about just working effectively, setting out goals for yourself. And that's one of the main things that I tried in the the later half of staying here was setting up goals, because I know that's something everybody always tells you growing up, is to try to set goals for yourself. What do you want to be in the future? What are you going to do? And setting a reasonable goal, something you can actually see yourself completing, is important. Because if I just went and said 3 months ago, I want to come over here and be able to go back home and do the exact same thing that he does right now and become as profitable in a month, that's not feasible. Or just unrealistic goals like that. You have to be smart with what you're doing, because if you set something unreasonable like that, you're gonna go 3 days and just be like, this is impossible, I give up.
Plus having the plan, right? I mean, it's one thing setting the goal, but then figuring out how to measure it and how to make sure you're hitting it and how you're gonna actually hit it. Yeah,
which is what I was gonna say is, you wanna set a goal you can achieve, and to do that, you wanna look at yourself. And if you personally develop yourself, you can achieve more. And now I'm just going in circles, but
no, it's true though. I mean, if you work on yourself, you
can get higher. So basically, you want to set reasonable goals. And what I started doing in the last few days I was here was to set a goal. What do I want to complete by the end of the day? And then once I got into the habit of that, what do I want to complete by the end of the week? Do I want to read this book? Do I want to set up this many posts? Do I want to work with the estimator, cold calling, learn more about underwriting, learn more about this and more about that? If I was able to manage my time wisely, which is something you're very good at, as you can see his calendar, it's explosive. There's no space, but he attends everything. If you manage your time wisely, you have more time to do the stuff that's not required, which is personal development, grow. I could sit down and see what you're doing at the moment and learn from that. Just whether you're on a webinar and I'm still stuck making a post, or with the estimator, or out doing something else. If you manage your time wisely, you have more time to do what you want to do. And that kind of goes with your goals. If you manage your time, you can achieve your goals. So
separate time to actually work on your goals. Yeah, so you work on yourself, on your self-development, you're always learning, right? You're always reading books,
something
you're always educating yourself, and then you set your goals, you have a plan to attack it, you use your time wisely, you're efficient with your time. What else? As far as this whole section was things that I feel like the school system, the curriculum doesn't teach, right?
Which there's a lot of those things.
And there's financially, and your finances.
Teach you anything about managing your finances, and thankfully here I got to learn a lot about managing my finances. Early on, it was funny because I created a post about your income and managing what percentage of your income should go to what. Like 50% of your income should cover all your necessities, house, living costs, your amenities of your house, everything that you need, that you can't go without to stay where you're living. There was also an interesting part of that was, I think either 10 to 20% was just learning, and which was something I learned early on when he put a stack of 30 books in front of me, and was that just to invest in increasing your knowledge and
invest in yourself.
Exactly what it was.
You're now invested in what, over $2,000 passively in 3 months?
Yes.
Okay, good, man. So we're definitely going to miss you here. You've been a great help. I hope. Seems like you've learned a lot.
Yeah, I have.
Anything? Actually, here's a good one. So, what would Josh today tell Josh 3 months ago?
I mean, kind of reiterate would have been the time management, because 3 months ago, if I had gotten to the efficiency that I had gotten in just the past couple of weeks, I would have had a lot more on my plate to kind of just learn more and make my time more useful. But of course, that's what I learned through those 3 months.
It's good feedback though. So I know now to maybe adjust.
Hammer that in. So
adjust the curriculum a little and go up to the time management hard in the beginning.
I think a good way would be to kind of show them how they can manage their time. Like, get with them, show them what you want them to do, and not just leave them, and then kind of sit by them for one day and just see what they're doing. Like, but then you kind of gotta make it so your goals for them are their goals. Is a good point.
Okay, so that's our 3-month internship. What was overall, man? What'd you think?
It was great. I got to learn a lot. I think 3-month-old me wouldn't recognize the information that I know now. It would be a lot to take in all at once. If I tried to have a conversation with him, he wouldn't know what I was talking about at all.
All right, so I'm gonna throw one more at you. I just remembered.
Got it.
When you started here, you had no idea what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Like you said, I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do, but as I've gotten to work beside you, as you've run these 2 amazing businesses that are really effective at what they do, is that I really like businesses. They help people a lot. They just supply and demand, but it's more than that. If you're in a bind, you can reach out, get somebody to build you this, sell you this. Not just talking about your company, but companies in general. They're important.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you build a business where you're solving somebody's issue,
yeah,
I mean,
that's selling a commodity.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. And working in his particular companies, I think I really enjoyed the multifamily industry as a whole, taking down these large complexes with hundreds of investors or just a few rather rich ones. And I wouldn't mind working under somebody else for that, because if you work with somebody else, you can kind of see what they're doing. You can learn the game. If I wanted to get really good at underwriting, somebody could take me on as an underwriter. And let's say I work for them for so many years and I keep my own money, and like I said earlier, there's a percentage of your income that you want to spend for learning. There's also a percentage you want to use for investing. If over the couple of years I work as an underwriter, let's say in this example, I just keep investing my money passively, and while I have a job, at some point I can use that money to start my own company. I can be the underwriter in the company, and then I can hire on an estimator, somebody who raises the equity, somebody who helps me with underwriting, and somebody who closes the deals and all the other parts of it. So you're not really put into a box with the business. You can kind of pick a skill, and as you increase that skill, learn other smaller ones to just kind of know what you're doing. And there's just a lot of opportunities in business, and you have your own choices. So that's one thing I really seem to like about business.
Yeah, and if you master that one skill, like we were saying, you can always bring value to another group. You mentioned underwriting. You know, if you're really good at underwriting, you can easily bring that value to another group and possibly
help
grow with them. Yeah, help them out and grow with them.
Lock down a new deal, and then they get more money, you get more money, and you get more knowledge and the opportunity to branch out.
Right. So we got used to having an intern. So now that Josh is leaving us, if you want an intern, let us know. If you want to be an intern and learn everything you just heard, let us know. Yeah, I think that's it.